feeling empty, yet everyone is all around me. Oh, why can't I be like them? Can't I truly be myself? Wish that everything was so different. Wish that everyone could accept the real me. I have tried to hide it all this time, but nobody knows who I really am. So I keep on crying, and I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying. It's a cry from the roses. We cry from the roses, yeah. My friends, my family, my leaders, and everyone all around me. Hey, people like me, people who want to know like them. Wish that everything was so different. Wish that all of them could understand. All right, friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I welcome you all to this update show about the situation of LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma camp, where they are being attacked almost on a daily basis. I request you all to share, invite your friends, share the video so that we can have some people take action even today while we engage here. Please invite your friends. Thank you so much. Right now, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling empty, yet everyone is all around me. Oh, why can't I be like them? Can't I truly be myself? Wish that everything was so different. Wish that everyone could accept the real me. I have tried to hide it all this time, but it's killing me inside. Nobody knows who I really am. So I keep on crying, and I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying, crying, crying. And I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying. It's a cry. Kindly share the video, friends. Invite your friends, invite your networks, invite human rights defenders, human rights organizations. Invite the campaigners that you know. Invite the UNHCR. Invite the UNHCR because we have messages from them for them here every day. Invite human rights defenders that you know, local, regional, and international, from wherever you are. Inside. Nobody knows who I really am.
Kindly invite your friends to the show. We'll be starting in a minute. Thank you very much.
Putting me down with all those hateful words you say, but now it's time for me to stand up on my 2 feet. I cannot take it anymore. I'm tired living a lie, and now it's time for me to
Salute you, Akudo. Good to see you.
show you the real me.
All right, I welcome you all again. Those who have just arrived, thank you for joining us. This is yet another updates live show regarding the situation of LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma Camp. For those of you who don't know, LGBT refugees in Kakuma Refugee Camp in Kenya have been facing daily violent attacks from other homophobic refugees in the camp. Brutality from the police and attacks from surrounding nationals. So it is the homophobic refugees, it is the brutality from the police, and attacks from surrounding nationals in the Turkana region. Seeking help from the UNHCR, they were tear-gassed and dumped back in the camp. One LGBTQ refugee recently committed suicide in front of the UNHCR in Nairobi out of desperation, and many have considered suicide to escape the horror of being violently attacked every day. At least 31 LGBTQ refugees were wounded badly in a massive attack on June 19th, 2020, and they have been requiring hospitals since then. They have continued to face violent attacks since then. In fact, last night, they reported a fire. We saw images of a fire that was started on one of their houses. There was chaos, and somebody called Canary was actually re-injured. We had to take him to hospital today. But if we wait, LGBTQ refugees face certain death threats from these violent attacks. And the reason we are doing these live shows and giving you updates and calling you to action, individuals and institutions, is because we want to avoid this situation. It could turn worse. In way of updates, we have had a lot of people, in fact a few people, kind of like a handful of people through my networks that have contributed to the well-being of the refugees. I have received some monies on behalf of the refugees. With that money, we have managed to buy food. We have managed to buy a first aid kit to cover the entire Block 13 where the LGBT refugees are. And we've managed to take them to hospital. 2 days ago, we had 4 of them treated. I have disturbing images, from the imagery center of the Mission Hospital. We had to take them to a private hospital in order for them to get proper care. And we have people who have got injuries on their skulls. Injuries on the skull. And this is documented. It is injuries they sustained from the attacks from the Sudanese refugees, homophobic refugees. And we have X-ray images, X-rays that have been taken that show exactly the extent of the damage. We have one of the lesbians we'll never see properly again. In fact, today we had to pay more money to buy whatever they need for their vision. Those of you who have contributed to the fundraising effort, thank you so much. Tavi from here in Baltimore has managed to collect $430, $35 from her from their networks here in Baltimore. We got more money from Rebecca Drum, also here in Baltimore, $650 in total. Ken Medlin sent us $50. Hillary, a Ugandan ally and political activist from Massachusetts, has contributed $300 US this morning towards the refugees, LGBT refugees in Kakuma camp. That is Hillary Taylor, a political activist and human rights activist from Uganda, based in Massachusetts. Now, I would like to inform you that more people gave earlier on, and altogether I have received just close to $1,500 for our friends in Kakuma camp. We have had more than 20 people taken to hospital and actually treated of their fractures and deep head injuries and cuts across their bodies. Now, I want to tell you also that the UNHCR, despite our cries, despite your efforts to send them messages requesting and demanding for the release of these refugees from the dangerous Kakuma camp to safety, probably into Nairobi or other urban areas. Despite those efforts, the refugees have not seen a single UNHCR official. No official from the UN agency for refugees has come to the camp to speak to the refugees, to check on how they are doing. And yet, we know that they have received the reports. They have seen the blood oozing out of people's bodies. They have seen bodies that have been sliced. They have heard from us. They've heard from you. They even sent the police to the camp. They even sent 2 ambulances on the 19th of June to get refugees into some public hospital where they got very minimal support. Because by the time we took them to the private hospital, they have pus oozing out. And I'm sorry for mentioning this. It's this, I know. They have pus oozing out of their heads, head injuries, damages to their skulls, and fractures. Very many. We have over 20 people that have been treated to death, because we had 4 on Wednesday. We had 12 of them in hospital yesterday, and we've had about 8 or 9 of them this morning in Kakuma receiving treatment. We are still calling on all of you to please urge the UNHCR to get these refugees out of that camp to safety. We are urging human rights defenders across Africa, across the world, to treat this as a crisis, because it is. We are calling upon human rights organizations in Africa, local LGBT organizations in East Africa, GALC in Kenya, the Gay and Lesbian Coalition of Kenya, Sexual Minorities Uganda, Freedom and Rome Uganda. We are requesting you, we are begging you to please speak out, to please use your institutional muscles to reach out to the UNHCR on behalf of these refugees, and support us individual activists who are really spending sleepless nights without resources in protecting these refugees and seeking support for them. Organizations, LGBT organizations across Africa. We have not heard from the International Lesbian and Gay Association, ILGA Africa. I'm sorry, I have to name you, all of you. The Coalition of African Lesbians. They are lesbians in the camp. They are trans men who have been raped in the camp. without any help, without the perpetrators being brought to book, with the perpetrators marching across the compounds every day. Organizations in Africa, you have been silent on this. And the question is, why? International organizations, Outright in Action International, Jessica Stan, we are calling upon you. We are calling upon all organizations that have registered for the protection of LGBT human rights across the world, and in Africa, in East Africa, in Kenya, in Uganda, in South Africa, everywhere, to please use your muscle and help get these people to safety. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There is blood being shed. And we cannot wait for bodies to fall. We cannot wait for that. So we are requesting all of you, a network of activists, again from across the world, and the refugees who have sent us and asked us to advocate on their behalf, and asked us to ask you all, including human rights organizations, to advocate on their behalf. This is what they are looking for, and this is what you can do. We are collectively asking you to send an email to UNHCR offices, for you to reach them on Twitter and Facebook, and also to call them. We are asking you to reach out to them and tell them about this situation, this crisis in Kakuma, about how LGBTQ refugees in the camp are under attack almost on a daily basis, with so many casualties and with minimum support. We are asking you to amplify their voice as they ask the UNHCR to ensure immediate issuance of a formal pass providing protection for all LGBTQ refugees to leave the camp, Kakuma camp, and travel safely to Nairobi, and to be protected from any police harassment for the duration of their stay in Kenya, and to receive protection from the police from any harassment from any other entity. Now, they cannot leave Kakuma camp without the blessing of the UNHCR. That is why, even if many of you are willing to help get them out of the camp, they cannot leave the camp without the blessing of the UNHCR. They need a pass from the UNHCR, working with the government of Kenya, to let them pass, give them safe passage from the camp to Nairobi and surrounding urban areas into safety. The camp is not safe for them. Last night we saw fire. We saw one of the houses set on fire. On 19th and 20th of this month, June, we saw like a massacre. And we are asking you to amplify the voice, to request the UNHCR to get them out of there as soon as possible. It is a crisis. Acts against humanity are being committed. The perpetrators of these actions are walking free in the camp and repeatedly doing the same thing. We have a lot of casualties. We have a lot of people with head injuries from beatings. We have a lot of people with fractures, their limbs. We have a lot of people who have been sliced. Their bodies, skins have been sliced like they are vegetables. If we believe in humanity and the protection of humanity, the human rights of human beings, we would not hesitate to send this message to the UNHCR. You can check my Facebook page, Victor Mukasa, for the asks. Basically, for what you can do, a short email, just copy and paste and send it to a UNHCR office in your area. Send it to the UNHCR office in Kenya. Send it to the UNHCR Twitter handles. On Facebook, they are there. Everywhere. Just like other campaigns when we care about human beings, these two are human beings. We will not really go very far with the ask. I think that the most important thing is asking the UNHCR to give their blessing and protection to all LGBTQ refugees to transit safely from Kakuma camp to Nairobi and other urban areas and to be safely to have them safely process and expedite their resettlement processes. So friends, again I repeat, we are not aware of any responses from the UNHCR. The refugees have not seen a single UNHCR official to speak to them about their safety in the camp since the last huge attack on June 19th of this month. Mark you, there have been other attacks before that, but this was a major attack. And we continue to see these things happening. People have been raped in this camp. Trans men and lesbians and gay men and others have been raped in this camp. B13, that is the block 13 where LGBT refugees are. We cannot remain silent, friends. I'm urging you all, on behalf of LGBT refugees in Kakuma camp, to please reach out to the UNHCR and report their case and plead their case. They need to get out of the camp. I continue to thank all those who have contributed financially to the refugees in the camp, people who have given the money that we are using to take them to a private mission hospital in Kakuma area. That money has been used to buy food for them because during the last attack on June 19th and 20th, their food too was stolen by Sudanese refugees who attacked them. Remember that they give them food once a month. So they had it stocked up there. It was taken. It was stolen. Their property was stolen. We are now planning to buy blankets for the children because they don't have blankets. These refugees are sleeping outside. We have children and women sleeping inside the little houses that are left. But all those male identifying sleep outside, whether they're ailing with wounds or not. But it is saddening that up till now, the UNHCR has not actually been to the camp to speak to the LGBT refugees under attack in B Block 13. I came here for a brief update because we did have an update yesterday, and also I do not have a lot of strength to continue with the long update as usual. But if any of you would like to come live, I'm happy to invite you. Otherwise, we can close in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I forgot to tell you that we have also a team of volunteer therapists and counselors who are doing rounds in the camp virtually via video calls. They are giving to the refugees therapy and counseling sessions. We have a lot of people who are suicidal. We have all of them are facing trauma. Those who have been brutally raped are also facing a lot of trauma. And I would like to send a shout out to all the counselors who have volunteered to offer free counseling services to the LGBT refugees in Kakuma camp. Thank you so much. We are very grateful for your time and resources, other resources. And we are still making out that call if there's any therapist out there who is experienced in issues to do with trauma, victims of rape, suicide, people who are suicidal, and LGBTQ knowledgeable, we would like you to show up. Please reach out to me, Victor Mukasa, through Facebook or email, and also, reach out to the refugees that like Purity page and other resourceful people please. And yeah, we have a lot of refugees also that are suffering from gender dysphoria, which is really bad for those of you who know. So if any of you wants to help out, please show up. And we are very thankful to all the therapists that have showed up. Also, I wanted to let all of you know here that today, Purity Page, who is our transgender activist, one of the people who are helping to coordinate efforts in Kenya, received news of the passing of her dad. She's a refugee. She cannot go back to Uganda. And she's also going through a lot as a refugee in Kenya. But please show your love, reach out to Purity Page, and give her the strength, because amidst this loss and everything that is happening, she is still standing for her fellow refugees in Kakuma and in Nairobi. Doreen Andrews, I'd be happy to host you if you could come around and just give us a quick update, so that people can hear from you. Doreen is one of the leaders in the camp. Doreen is one of the leaders in the camp, one of few leaders who are really helping to strengthen the others. And Doreen is not able to come. Really, your camera is off, Doreen. Purity, I don't know if you're able to come and say hi to us. Bev Ditsy, I see you. Bev, we still need your voice. We still need your voice when it comes to saving the lives of LGBT refugees in Kakuma camp. You have seen the stories, and we are not really getting any support. We do not know why human rights organizations, LGBT human rights organizations in Africa, are silent. We do not understand. The refugees are crying out and saying, Victor, why are organizations in Africa, in particular that are LGBT, silent about this? We need your muscle. We need your muscle. We need you behind us as we call for this. Hi, Purity.
Hi.
I'm so sorry for the loss of your papa.
Yeah, it's emotional, but I'll be fine.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that
Yeah,
this is happening, especially at such a time.
yeah. It happened at a wrong time because this is somebody that um thought I was supposed to be his heir, and I'm getting calls from my sisters because when I was born, I was the only boy in the family and the last born. So the hair issue is bringing so many calls, but I'm choosing strength because at the end of the day, I'm not accepted. And at the end of the day, we shall still have to be brave enough because somehow we expect these things to happen. And that's what an LGBTQ refugee has to go through. And
We don't have
those
to.
ones in understand what I'm saying. I'm sorry it's a little bit darker,
It's
but
okay.
I would love to say this. The world needs to understand that we go through way so much, even beyond what they see in Kakuma. I mean, like people who, our LGBTQ community who are suffering right now in Kakuma also have families that rejected them. And being rejected doesn't mean that you forget your roots. So there is a lot that people don't see, and refugees suffer all that trauma because right now nobody probably will understand the kind of trauma I go through, even when my father didn't like me at all. He still remains my father, and it is so sad that I can't even bury him or do nothing about it. And that's what makes me angry sometimes, to know that somebody's busy shedding blood that they shouldn't be shedding, and then have to suffer the fact that they do not have a family. And even when they still maybe have hopes that maybe one day my family will accept me, you still get news that, they are gone,
Yeah.
minus making peace. And it's what it is. The world just have to understand that we need as much support. Like right now, I just took antidepressants. I'm tired of them. I wouldn't be talking here. I'm tired of antidepressants. I sometimes take overdose of antidepressants so that I may not have emotions at all. I need to turn off my phone so that nobody calls me, because I know what they're going to call me and tell me, we thought you were a boy and we're supposed to be a hair, because I'm from Africa, and in Uganda, their parents. And so for somebody now in Kakuma camp, imagine if I had wounds on my body, imagine if my body parts were cut in pieces, like the blood we are seeing in Kakuma, and then I had to deal with this. People don't see the kind of trauma you talk about on a daily basis. It's hard. And the reason why sometimes you feel like, okay, maybe it's a refugee that actually understands another refugee, but then we are glad that we have people like you, because goodness me, nobody should be in Kakuma camp, an LGBTQ person. I mean, like, with all I'm going through, still I get immediate calls and
I'm
all
with you.
that for people in Kakuma who are going through a lot, and they just got fresh attacks.
Purity,
Attacks too.
Purity has been working with me all these days, and in fact, we both have hardly had any sleep. I spent the whole night. It is 8:36 a.m. here in the US. I'm not telling you so that you feel sorry for me, guys, but while we were working this morning, that is when Purity received the message of the passing of her father. She was at it with me, uh, working on the issues in Kakuma. The question is, Africa, especially LGBT organizations in Africa, what is the big deal? What do we have to do to have you out there visibly calling for the saving of the lives of LGBTQ refugees in Africa? What can we do to ask you to come out visibly, to speak out, on social media, or in every space for these LGBT people who, at the moment, are the most suffering LGBT human beings on the continent of Africa? They are the only ones who are bleeding every day. It is the one place where we are having rape of transgender men. All right, we have them across Africa, but we had never experienced this kind of massacre. But if we have before, and you have all stood up and been there, what have these LGBT refugees done? You have the muscle and the resources to approach the UNHCR to help these people. But here they are, losing their parents and still fighting and standing on their own with a small victor somewhere. When they're huge, giant organizations with resources, with the time, with the expertise. Why? Why should we beg? We are hearing of organizations that have gotten all the resources for these very refugees, and I have to go begging everywhere. No organization has fed Kakuma refugees since I don't know how many weeks, but in particular since the attack when they lost all their property and food. It is individuals like you and you and you, a few of you who are online here, who have been there for them. It is you who have taken them to the hospitals for treatment. But let us forget about money. Because as friends, we can come together and feed our own. But what has happened to you that you cannot use your computers to start a campaign on Facebook for LGBT refugees that are actually bleeding, that have head injuries? I can't show you, but I have the x-rays here from the hospital yesterday and on Wednesday. These guys have permanent damage on their heads. Pus is oozing out of their wounds. And we are still waiting to justify what? What are you organizations waiting to justify? Is it because we have not approached each one of you individually, even if we see all of you looking at the Facebook posts of LGBT refugees bleeding? If that's what you want, everybody on this live, I beg you to reach out and beg LGBT organizations in Africa to stand for LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma camp openly. I ask you to reach out to international LGBT organizations, to regional LGBT organizations, ILGA Africa, Coalition of African Lesbians, alliances in East Africa and in Southern Africa. We have had the sorry, you're suffering, you're hurting. But let us see you out there supporting our efforts. Don't judge these people. You have defended murderers. You have defended thieves even inside your own organizations. But you will cease and wait for an investigation probably that will take 8 months to save lives of your own. This is me. It has come to this. I tried to keep it to myself. But the world is asking where LGBT organizations are. The world is asking. You are trying to show the world that these people are not suffering. Your silence is contributing to the murder of these people. Your silence is contributing to these people going crazy. Your silence is contributing to the rapes that are done on LGBT people in that camp. Your silence is the reason that Sudanese attackers are still loitering in the compound every day. That those who have been raped, sliced, hit on the heads have to see their attackers every day. You are the reason that the UNHCR is so proud to remain silent and look at us as fools as we call them to defend and protect these few individuals who are the numerical minority in the camp, but also culturally in the camp. Now you can hate me. I can take it, but at least stand for humanity. See me as a beast for calling you out. But go and stand for humanity. Take off 2 hours, each one of you in your organizations, to openly put a Twitter, to openly call the UNHCR, to get on your phone and call Kakuma camp. Call Kakuma camp and talk to the refugees. I am sorry, I've been coming here calm, but this is too much. It is too much for the UNHCR to remain silent when the people it claims to protect are being cut and massacred every night. It is so painful to see that LGBT refugees, LGBT organizations and human rights defenders are silent in Africa when our own are under attack, when they're going crazy, when their skulls are splitting, when their eyes have become blind for good. when they're just fighting with some of them not to commit suicide. Like, we don't know that just recently a refugee hanged themselves in the compound of the UNHCR offices in Nairobi because of depression, because of these very issues. It is not okay. It's not just the UNHCR. It is the silence of African LGBT human rights groups that have remained silent or are so, I don't know, embarrassed or whatever to show that they're supporting this LGBT. What don't you know? It's the Black Lives Matter movement. Activists used to just hide on their computers and fear to say anything and fear to do and to bring up any kind of outrage. Would it be where it is? Have we not done campaigning? I'm talking from experience. For 2 decades, as a human rights defender, grassroots, regional, and international, I have worked with most of you, and I know what is happening. But please put it all aside and stand up for humanity. We have done campaigns, and this is how they go. You all know. It's about petitions. It's about organizations with muscles to speak out, not individuals like Victor Mukasa, a regular American a friend who is walking the streets of Baltimore. These are the people who have stood up for these refugees. Where are you? You are in a place of privilege when it comes to service. The police in America is in a place of privilege when it comes to service and protection. That police has abused that privilege by putting all the resources and using that power to abuse people or to remain silent when people are being abused. Human rights organizations on the continent, LGBT organizations across the world, your silence while you're in those positions of privilege is saddening. It can kill a soul. You being in the closet about this issue and not coming out and speaking openly about it is saddening. Hate me. Love those refugees. Throw me out. But love those refugees. Stand up for them. Just spending sleepless nights. For those of you online here, human rights defenders or not, or whoever cares about humanity, please, the UNHCR is still our target. Doreen.
Hello.
Doreen, welcome back.
Hello. I have been in hospital. I've been dealing with about 13 cases. And it's surprising what we are always finding whenever we go to hospital. People think that reaching in hospital, they're telling you this person is now suffering from anemia or pneumonia, rather. Someone that you thought is just having a knee that is swollen, located. Someone that is having a headache, they tell you that they have a fracture on the skull. We thought that
the connection in Kakuma is not very good. I know that Doreen will be coming back. But listen to that. They've been having chest pain since June 19th, and they thought maybe something is broken, when in actual sense, they're suffering from pneumonia, because even their blankets are taken. And we are there, LGBT human rights organizations in Africa, waiting for what? To speak out when people are dying. Please, our allies on here, and everybody who cares on this line, please reach out to the UNHCR with a request for them to evacuate LGBTQ refugees from Kakuma camp with immediate effect. Block 13, where the LGBTQ refugees reside, is under attack. Even last night, there was a fire. One of the houses was set on fire. It's all on Facebook. But June 19th and 20th, the attacks were mega. What Doreen is talking about, those fractures, those dislocations, the sliced bodies that you have seen, limbs, happened. Most of them happened on June 19th. It was a major attack that was recorded live. And we have the muscle. The muscle, we have it. And we can wake up every day and go and organize pride events. It is okay to have pride, LGBT people. It's okay to have pride. But let us just use 30 minutes. For those who can't even celebrate it, not because they cannot work there, but because they're in a refugee camp and are under attack. None of the social media meetings that have happened with honorable human rights defenders, with honorable LGBT organizations, with honorable people who care about human rights, all the social media meetings, callings that we have seen, Zoom meetings, none of them is addressing the issue of LGBTQ refugees in Kakuma camp. Who are the ones who are bleeding? Who are the ones who are being raped? Man, woman, transgender, all being raped. Whose houses have been burned, whose property has been taken, stolen. How can we be comfortable? If any human rights organization here cares, I'm sorry I cannot approach all of you, and the refugees cannot also approach all of you. On my Facebook is a call to action. On our Facebook pages, on our Facebook pages, we have the videos of the attacks that were recorded in real time. The refugees have recorded everything and put it out there. We are seeing these tall men attacking them, the perpetrators. Nobody has said anything. They are still roaming the camp and threatening the refugees, the LGBT refugees. But because you're so many honorable LGBT organizations in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Malawi, in South Africa, here in the United States, in Europe, thanks to those in Asia who have written mails, we request you to come to our Facebook pages because you're so many. But we would have wanted to reach out to you and begged you to help these people. We are asking you to use your privilege to serve for humanity. We are now looking at People Power Movement in Uganda. There is an activist for the People Power Movement who just gave $300 for those refugees in Kakuma. Not a gay man, just a regular man, ally, that cares for humanity because it is humanity. That does not need to first get to find out how was somebody cut, who shot this one, but just cares that somebody is bleeding. And we are not asking for money. We are asking for your word. If you need to go and investigate, fly there. You have flown there to the camp when you have other agendas to look at the refugees and take pictures with them. You may fear COVID, but you have been able to hire helicopters into that camp before. Hire them. Let one of you go represent all the honorable human rights defenders so that you investigate. Probably spend a night there or two so that you see what they're going through. These are human beings whoever is using their privilege to serve this blood, not the final one when they drop dead, but all the blood they are losing, the sight that they are losing, the cracks on their skulls that they are getting, the fractures, the dislocations, all of it is on you. It is on you. Kakuma friends, if you're able to come out here, please come out. If you're not able to, we will close this live, and I close it by requesting you all to contact the UNHCR now. You can find those contacts online, wherever you are. You can just put in UNHCR, your country or your city, and you will have email addresses, many of them. Because we don't have muscles, we don't have those big institutions behind us, we don't have big whatevers behind us, we have Facebook pages with the petitions. You can find what we are asking for there. But the main thing is to have all these refugees, LGBT refugees, on block 13. Oh, they are being attacked right now. I think that they might be being attacked right now. Oh, you just posted a video of the attack? Did you post the video? You posted the video of the attack?
I posted that link. Go onto that link and see the live video. The broad daylight of the 19th attack onto Block 13, when a group of about 500 Nuer Sudanese came in and just shattered our houses, threw stones at us, washing us with canes, trying to push us out of this camp. People are tolerating no LGBT anymore. They are tired of us. They have tried to connect with UNHCR. These very people that we are complaining about now, they went to UNHCR before they even came to attack us. And UNHCR still refused and kept us there at the same place. They told to the police that they don't want us around their children, they don't want us around their neighborhood. We are an abomination to their cultures, to their religion, and still UNHCR kept us at that same place. Do you understand what I'm saying? That this was seen way before it happened. UNHCR was aware of this before it happened, and they kept quiet. They didn't do anything about it. They just watched and say that they're going to have meetings, say they're going to have dialogue. What that means. This was seen before it happened. This is not something that just happened abruptly. It's not like it was a mistake to them. They warned us severally. They used to beat us one by one when we passed through the streets close to their houses, trying to show us how they are tired of us. It didn't stop them because the police got involved and tried to warn them. The UNHCR came in and tried to tell them, but they don't want words. They want us out of a place that they believe is theirs. They believe is now theirs. They came from their countries and were told by UNHCR this is to be their home. LGBT people are living in a place where is already given to other Sudanese and told them that this is their home. They have to protect their home, of course. How else are you to expect them to exist in such a place? They are feeling that we are invading their privacy. Are we just being served to you and to these people for an experiment of some kind? Are we being a test to see how brutal these people are? They are from war. These people have been fighting their tribal wars for years and years, and they know the only way to claim land or to claim a home is to fight for it. We are very few in number, very few. 138 people are nothing to 500 people for 2 hours because we didn't have anywhere else to run. Remember, we are in a camp. We're in a refugee camp. There is nowhere else to run. They surrounded us on 19th, and they did all that they wanted on us. Our material was stolen. We were beaten. Everyone has an injury, whether major or minor. Every one of us has injuries, even little children. People don't sleep anymore in that same place, that we are not even able to live out. When we tried to the next day to move out of the place, to go to the UNHCR compound to forward this issue, police came in and surrounded us, told us we have no right to go there. Because when we went there in the first place, that was in April, when all of this was happening, when all the threats were starting, we went there in April and told UNHCR, find us another place in Kakuma to put us. And that time we were telling them to still keep us in Kakuma because we are still refugees. Most of us haven't even yet accessed refugee status. They're still asylum seekers. That let's wait here in Kakuma, somewhere that is safer for our documents to now apply us in as refugees. But then UNHCR refused, kept us in such a place that is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. I don't know. Is it because they are homophobic? I'm not sure. Is it because they hate LGBT people? I'm not sure. But all their actions is continuing to show that tebatwetagirako ddala, tebatwetagirako ddala, wano tebatwagalirawo ddala. They do not at any second of any hour want to see us.
Since the attack on June 19.
I posted the tag here. Scroll through the comments in this show right now live, scroll in and see what happened. It was so sad. And remember, this is not the only attack. Everyone who's watching, listen to me. This is not the only attack that has happened on us. Most of them, we didn't get the chance to record them. But that shows you how frequent they have been, to an extent that we now can even have our cameras pointing at these people's faces and they are still coming towards us.
We have
Stones
them
coming
on
in
camera.
the air, they're throwing sticks. Yes, we have them on camera. This same video that police of Kakuma has, the same video that UNHCR has, they have all the evidence that they need. They know these people by face. They know them by face. The block leader, which is the acts as the immediate contact to whatever is happening in that block 13, was there in that very place. He's even on video. He was there seeing what's going on, trying to stop it, but these people cannot even listen to him anymore because they are so tired of having homosexual people in their community. They're tired. We cannot stop being who we are. We cannot. If we did, we would have stayed back in our homes and stopped being there. This is who we are. This is how we are born. And now we are being judged. Actually, we are being sentenced for being homosexuals. While the rest of the world is out there just keeping quiet, we are serving a sentence for homosexuality here in Kakuma. We are being crucified, hanged. We are being cut. Our heads have cuts all over, from little children, women and men. All kinds of people here that are LGBT are now living in fear. People don't sleep, people don't eat, people don't even have time to move around. They are moving in fear. People are going to go crazy while the world is watching. People are living in hiding, in total hiding. Someone is afraid of opening their door because even if they open the door to walk out, it's either the police that they are looking at or some Sudanese who's going to threaten them. Even if it's you out there who's watching, are you safe when you have to first ensure that a police car is at your door for you to feel safe? Is that safety? Is that safety? Are you a criminal to have police surrounding you for you to feel safe? What is going on? Why is this happening?
So Doreen.
Yes, Victor?
What are you seeking right now? What do you want? Let our people know. Let them take the message to the UNHCR if they care.
Everyone who can contact UNHCR, whether it's Geneva, whether it's UNHCR in your country, we seek to leave Kenya as soon as possible. We seek to leave Kakuma as soon as possible. And for that to happen, we need a movement pass as soon as possible, right now. And to evacuate us out of Block 13 right now. Right now, that's what we need. And we've been asking this for days. No UNHCR official has responded. We need to get out of Block 13 for our life's sake. This is not about our refugee processing. It's not about what, but to save our lives, what to move out of Block 13.
Thank you so much, Doreen. Thank you, and strength to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor.
Catch you after the live show so that we continue with the work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor.
You've heard from Doreen. If anyone wants to come on this live, uh, I think that it's time for me to also leave. But like I said, you can find the contacts, and like Doreen said, you can find the contacts of any UNHCR office you want online. All you need to do is send a message. Honorable human rights defenders and African human rights organizations, we ask you to use your privilege to serve. We ask you to use it to save the lives of some of the very few LGBT people in Africa that are bleeding, literally bleeding right now, literally getting head injuries, literally sliced with machetes. We ask you to act. We ask you, we beg you to act on their behalf. I plead with you. Make your fight public. Lead us into some kind of outrage. Lead us. We are willing to be led. Right now, we are out here because nobody's leading us. Lead us. It's not what we are looking for. We just want lives to be safe. Lead us into some outrage that can change this. Where is the outrage when people are dying? Oh, Jesus. Thank you so much. As I said, we are still calling for more therapists. We are still calling for more counselors. The guys in Kakuma camp need counseling every day. Thanks to Tavi from here in Maryland, who has mobilized some financial resources, but also helped to mobilize counselors that are actually helping us with counseling guys every day. We have an average of 4 people, 4 people counseled a day. But really, we need a counselor almost every hour in order for everybody to have a turn. Sometimes we have to group them together, about 5 people, but all these people are facing different kinds of trauma. So it's not the easiest job for our therapists who are just doing it free of charge that they're facing. If in Africa we have any therapists, please show up. We thank the therapist from Uganda who actually rose to the occasion, upped their game and volunteered to serve today. I won't mention your name for safety reasons because I don't know what is happening, but thank you so much for being there for our refugees today. I thank Sharon in Canada, who is going to be doing some work today, Steve, Mali, all of you therapists that are out there doing a good job. I thank you, Shane Phillips, for the support that you're giving to the guys in Kakuma camp currently, and all of you who are currently reaching out and offering something for Kakuma camp. We thank you. Thank you so much. A lot of you don't want to be mentioned, but we recognize you. And at some point, I'll be coming up here or posting on my Facebook page people who have contributed in various ways, just for everybody to know that the resources have gone to good use and that we have been working around the clock. But what we need right now is for these refugees to be evacuated out of that dangerous camp, because it is dangerous and it is not safe for LGBTQ refugees. I thank you very much. And I'll go, but I refer you to my Facebook page. There you will find links to other pages where you can find all this information. We don't have the muscle and the privilege to serve, so our Facebook pages are our offices at the moment. You could find the information right there. And Brian Nkoyoyo, thanks for the music that I play here. That actually is what we are using to encourage others across the world. Thank you, everybody.
Right now, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling empty, yet everyone is all around me. Oh, why Can't I be like them? Can't I truly be myself? Wish that everything was so different. Wish that everyone could have said, forgive me. I have tried to hide it all this time, but it's killing me inside. Nobody knows who I really am. So I keep on crying, and I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying, crying, crying. And I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying. There's a cry from the closet, a cry from the closet, yeah. My friends, my family, my neighbors, and everyone all around me. Hey, hey. People like me, people who want to know like them. Wish that everything was so different. Wish that all of them could understand. Love you, me. I have tried to hide it all this time, but it's killing me inside. Nobody knows who I really am. So I keep on crying, and I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying, crying, crying. And I keep crying, crying, crying. Yes, I keep crying. There's a cry from the closet, a cry from the closet.
All right, friends in Kakuma camp, I just wanted to give the last shout out to you. I love you, and a lot of people love you. Please keep positive. It is difficult, but don't give up on humanity. We shall keep fighting, and you're not alone. We love you, and I love you guys a lot. It shall be okay. Adios.